What's up, Facebook? What's up, world? You guys thought I forgot about you, didn't you? So I tried to make a video yesterday and I had my cable peeps coming over to fix my phone, change over my internet service, and every time I tried to make this video, I got cut off. The phone rang. I mean, I've done this video probably 4 or 5 times, mostly all the way through. So this should be like the best video ever because this is like the 5th time that I'm doing this video. So I was super frustrated. What's up, Tom? How are you doing? And so people are joining. So basically, what's up, Nick? What's up, Steve? How are you? So I wanted to make this video today. And first I want to say thank you to everybody who joins in and all of the private comments I get. I'm floored. Like I feel just so honored that people take the time to hear what I have to say. And I hope that I inspire you because you inspire me. And what I really wanted to talk about today is kind of a serious thing. With the full moon and everything that happened. What's up, Tiff? There was a lot of purging. I was feeling totally out of balance, did a lot of crying, and then I popped up the next morning and I was like, yes, I'm ready to rock it. So I'm feeling good, but this topic is super important, but definitely something really close to my heart. And a bunch of my friends kind of know about this, but I wanted to talk about emotional abuse, sexual trauma, and healing modalities. So when I talked about how I was going to do a Facebook Live on this, some people that I talked to were kind of upset and definitely got triggered. There was some emotional stuff and resistance. And I realized that when you talk to somebody about something that possibly has happened to them and they have this severe emotional reaction, that says to me that if you're being triggered, you need to go within and have that conversation about, why am I triggered? Why have I not healed from this? How can I heal from this? And sort of, deal with that. Because the only way to know that you're healed is when somebody brings up something that happened to you and you feel peaceful and you can sort of walk through it and you feel good about yourself. You're like, okay, this is something in my past, I've worked through this, and there's not a reaction. So when people get triggered, it's not that they don't want you to talk about it. It's that they don't want to deal with it. So I'm talking about it because I like to face everything. Like I always talk about that warrior spirit. You know what I'm talking about, Steve? Exactly correct. So that warrior spirit won't let me not talk about it. It's a soul thing for me. And I feel like when we don't talk about stuff or we don't say that this is not okay, like my friend Diana always says, then basically we get to a point where we're just being compliant. And I can't be compliant. So I want to talk about how if we've experienced, which most of us have, unfortunately, emotional abuse or sexual trauma, it's something that directs our entire experience. It's something that suffocates us at night. Fight or flight, exactly, Tiff. So it suffocates us at night and we feel shameful and we feel hurt and we feel rage and we don't know how to release it. And so we're living with that. And sometimes we're living with anger and fear and shame for our entire lives, for decades. And it's directing our entire experience. So it's directing whether or not we make eye contact with people. It's directing whether or not we feel comfortable during intimacy or sex. It's directing whether or not we feel good enough to go after that job or that thing that we want to do, whatever we want to build. It's directing, whether we get anxiety in public, whether we feel like, we can be conscious of our breath and the space between our words. It's everything. So for me, I've always been a fighter, and I don't want to suffocate under something that wasn't my fault for my entire life and have it direct my experience and feel like I don't know who I could truly be if I would just release this. So I feel like a lot of people, and you may not be ready to heal now, but when you are, there are certain healing modalities that can help you sort of along your path. But one of the things that I've realized is that it's just really hard. You don't know what to do. And our entire experience, exactly, Steve, is being directed by these like horrible things that have happened to us. And we're carrying around all these broken pieces and we don't know how to put them back together. And every time, you have a conversation with somebody and you're triggered and you get angry and you go unconscious, it's like that's a direct response of something that is unhealed within you that you need to work on. And healing is this lifelong thing that we're always going to be doing. It's going to be forever and ever because new stuff is going to happen. We're going to get hurt. But there are some tools that I find really to be helpful. And for the longest time, in this conversation I've had with other people about, healing and some of the things that have happened to me that have been really traumatic, people didn't want me to talk about it. But I won't be compliant and I won't be silent. And it's sort of like what Martin Luther King says, life's most urgent and pressing question is, what are you doing for other people? And I feel like I'm here to help other people because other people have helped me. Other people have paved the way for me, and I want to pave the way for other people. So I love all of you guys. What's up, Jay? And I just want to say that, again, I'm so grateful for you listening to my videos. If there's anything that you guys want me to talk about, definitely let me know. So I've got my little list here so I don't forget. But some of the healing tools that I have found helpful along my journey have been, for one, Tantra, which is sacred sexuality and using breath work to be present. That's something that you can definitely, exactly, Steve, look out and, take some classes. It's just an amazing thing to transform your views on your sexuality. I mean, you need to know that your body is sacred, sex is sacred. And that's something that we have to sort of shift our views because, again, it directs our entire experience from our feelings to our energy and how we interact and drop in with other souls. The one thing that I'm super excited about that I love talking about is the float tank. And sensory deprivation is something that you might have seen on Fringe if you ever watched Fringe, best show ever, with Olivia, except they give her LSD in the tank, which you don't get LSD in the tank, but you could maybe if you had a private experience. So float tank is something that you can go into to connect with your higher self, to connect with your guides. Me being clairaudient, I always get a lot of guidance in the tank. Some people see a lot of stuff. Some people feel like they're in a spaceship. It's different for everyone. But basically, floating is very therapeutic. It helps you increase your creativity. It helps you shift beliefs. It helps you heal if you go in with the power to know that you want to leave things behind in the tank. Sometimes I say I want to release this and I want to leave that, and I do leave things. I come out in a massive shift. It also helps you if you have anxiety or depression, and it helps you sleep really amazing when you get out, and you feel really peaceful and zen. Like you can't even talk on the phone. You're like, I literally have to go right now because I just feel amazing. And so if you haven't floated, definitely float. The second thing I want to talk about is EFT, which is tapping. You probably know Nick Ortner made that famous, and Gabby Bernstein talks about it in some of her videos. EFT is emotional freedom technique, and basically it's psychological acupressure to help you release negative emotions that are stored in your body. It can also help if you're, like, two of my friends are going through a breakup this week, and I told them to basically watch a video and do it, and they said that it really put them back to center and helped them balance. So that can help you when you're sort of having a meltdown. I've used it a couple of times when I've been really emotional. It's basically tapping on the meridian points, so your chest, your karate chop, here, between your eyes, under your arm. You can watch a video on it, but it's really powerful. So in conjunction with tapping, you're also saying a positive affirmation. So I'm feeling really, really sad right now, but I deeply and wholly love myself. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? And that's a really powerful technique. It kind of tells the amygdala to, I don't know if I said that right, but it tells your brain to shut down and to stop pumping out the anxiety and getting all crazy. I don't know the entire science. I'm not pretending to, but it's a powerful technique that you can definitely Google and definitely try it anytime you're feeling emotional, anxious, depressed, or out of balance. The third thing is meditating. Most people meditate now. Some people know about binaural beats and some people don't. So what's up, Damani? Hi, Bob. Yeah, thanks, Jen. So meditation and binaural beats basically synchronize the left and right hemispheres of your brain. So it increases brain activity, it increases creativity. They say that if you use theta, which is one of the brain waves between waking and sleeping, you can basically be more creative, be deeply relaxed, and be able to manifest more out of the void. So that's something that you definitely want to check out. It helps you reach higher levels of consciousness. I've been using binaural beats for probably at least an hour and a half every day for, is that a good one, Steve? Hola Sync? Okay. I've been using it for the past 6 years, and I know, Bob, you know all about it, don't you? So basically I've been using that for 6 years, and I love it. It's really elevated my mood and my balance and everything. It's just a really good thing to use, especially if you need to drop in. Obviously dropping in silence is hard because your mind is, loud, and maybe you haven't spent a lot of time training, but binaural beats are definitely where it's at for sure. So the next thing I want to talk about is Reiki, which is powerful. And if you are in the California area, Denise Willis, who's one of my closest and bestest friends, love her to pieces. She's an energy practitioner, and I've had healing with her. She makes her own oils and sprays, and it's next level. There are no words for the balance that you feel when spending time with Denise. So if you're in California, look up Denise Willis. She's amazing. And Reiki. So you can either learn Reiki, you can go and get a session. It just really depends on, what you're interested in. I've been practicing for the past 2 years, and it's really powerful as a self-tool for healing. So definitely check that out. The next thing I wanted to talk about is creating. So creating is healing. I like to write. I like to sing. I like to dance around in the street when I'm walking my dog, like shaking it, getting down. So I've noticed that the more I elevate and the more I expand, I break out into song, I break out into dance. It's like my body is more in movement and more in flow. So dancing, whatever you feel, gardening, whatever makes you feel creative and passionate, that's your sexual energy, which is also tied to your voice and your power. So those 4 things are all one and the same. So when you increase any one of those, you're increasing the other 3 as well. Feeling it and freeing it. So that's one of the things I always talk about, moving your power to the front, talking to a friend about how you feel, and honestly understanding that it's totally okay to feel a certain way, and then letting it go, asking for guidance on, moving along and moving through that. Healing is something that it takes a long time. It takes way longer than you think. And I'm one of those people in the past that I did not have patience for healing. I'm like, can we just speed this up? So healing is something that I think you just have to be open to. It's an organic process and it naturally evolves. But these are some really good tools. So feeling it, freeing it, talking about it, trying to let it go. And then the next thing I would say, claiming those broken pieces. So for the longest time, because of emotional abuse and sexual trauma that happened to me when I was younger, I didn't want to be seen. And I know a lot of people feel this way. Maybe they don't feel confident speaking in public or being in front of people or being in large crowds. There are pieces that get broken when things happen to us. And I think we have to go back and claim those pieces. We have to look at, why we do certain things and what's driving that, it's driving the entire experience. So not wanting to be seen, not feeling like, what you have to say is good enough, maybe not trying to go after that job or write that book, or just, living on that next elevated level. We're sort of like suffocated. And until we release that and look at why we do things or why we feel certain ways, we can't really move forward. So going back and claiming all those pieces. So for me, I feel like I'm a full person now. I've claimed back the pieces that I felt were broken, things that were sad, things that were holding me back, and I've sort of faced them and have been able to step into full power at this point, because I feel like it's important to do that so we can help other people, for the people that have helped me. So hopefully I'm helping you guys by telling my story. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is breath work. So anytime that you are too much in your head, all you have to do is ground back into the earth. It's really hard to be in your head if you're being conscious of your breath. So breathing in and then breathing back out and imagining a cord going down into the earth and doing it over and over again. You can also do it at the same time while you're tapping. That will bring you back to center. So breath work is something that is definitely important. So you can do that through meditation. You can do it through yoga. You can do moving meditation while walking. You can do a lot of these things whenever you feel like it's the right time for you. So that's kind of all I have. I feel like this was definitely an important thing to tell the world. I really hope that if you're out there right now and you are struggling or you are hurting or you feel like you're suffocating and you feel like these really negative, low vibe feelings at night and you're just crying to the point where you feel like throwing up. I know I've been there. I want to say that I see you and I love you. And, if you need help, message me, message someone that you trust, talk about it, get it out. The minute that you talk about it, it becomes real and you can start moving through the healing process. I think a lot of times we don't want to talk about stuff. We want to just like throw it under the rug, throw it in the closet until everything falls onto your head. And we need to talk about it and make it real, and we need to move it out. We need to know that we're powerful and that we can talk about stuff and that we can move on with our life, that we can direct our experience, and that we can have other people help us direct our experience. So I'm going to leave you guys with In Love We Know, In Love We Flow, and I'll be back hopefully later this week, probably Friday, to do another video. Awesome tip, exactly, bringing the light. I'll see you guys soon.